Chosen one, before you scroll, before you doubt, before you tell yourself this message is not for you, pause for just a moment, because what you are about to hear is not random. It is a reminder heaven has been waiting to deliver. There are moments in life that seem small to us, but are loud in the spiritual realm. And one of those moments happened when you chose to help someone without expecting anything in return. You may not have felt it at the time, but that single act shifted something. Heaven leaned in, God took notice. You did not help because you were overflowing. You helped while you were tired, stretched, and unsure yourself. You gave time when your own life felt demanding. You listened when your heart was already heavy. You showed kindness when it would have been easier to stay silent or walk away. And that is exactly why it mattered. God is not moved only by grand gestures or public faith. He is moved by quiet obedience. He watches what people do when no one is clapping, when no one is watching, when there is nothing to gain. Many people assume God responds only to prayers spoken out loud, but there are prayers that are never spoken. They are lived. When you help someone, when you lift someone who cannot lift you back, your actions speak directly to heaven. Your kindness becomes a language God understands clearly. It tells him who you are at your core. It reveals your character, your heart, and your willingness to reflect his nature in the world. At the time, you may have thought, this is just what anyone would do. But not everyone does it. Many people see need and turn away. Many people feel the pull to help and silence it with excuses. But you didn't. Something in you wouldn't let you ignore it. That was not weakness. That was alignment. That was God's spirit in you responding before your mind could talk you out of it. You didn't know the full story of the person you helped. You didn't know what they were battling privately. You didn't know how close they were to giving up, but God knew. And he placed you there at the exact moment your presence was needed. That is not coincidence. That is calling. Sometimes God doesn't send miracles, he sends people. And in that moment, you were the answer to someone else's prayer. What you didn't see was what happened afterward. While you went on with your life, heaven marked that moment, not to keep score, but to honor obedience. God does not forget acts of love done in faith. Even when the world moves on quickly, heaven remembers slowly and intentionally. Every act of help becomes a seed placed into spiritual ground, and seeds always respond to timing, not pressure. You may be in a season now where things feel quiet, where results feel delayed, where you wonder if your goodness mattered at all. This is where many people grow wary and regret being kind. But this is not the time to doubt. This is the time to understand that God works beneath the surface long before he moves in ways that are visible. Roots grow in silence before anything breaks the ground. Some of you are confused because you did the right thing, yet life did not immediately get easier. You helped, but you still struggled. You gave, but you still waited. That does not mean God missed it. It means he is preparing the right moment. God's help is never rushed, but it is always precise. He does not respond in haste, he responds in wisdom. There is a difference between helping to be seen and helping because it is who you are. God honors the second deeply. When your help comes from sincerity, it creates a spiritual echo that lasts longer than you realize. Even if the person you helped never thanks you, heaven already did. Even if no door opened right away, one has already been unlocked. You are not overlooked. You are not forgotten. And you are not foolish for being kind in a hard world. What you gave was not wasted, it was stored. And when the time is right, God will release help to you in ways that surprise you. Not always from where you expect, not always in the form you imagined, but always in a way that confirms he saw you. So if you feel a gentle stirring in your spirit as you hear this, take it as confirmation. God is reminding you that your help mattered, that your obedience counted, and that the same God who watched you help others is now watching over you. Heaven has not been still. It has been preparing. There is something many people misunderstand about God's help. They believe it comes only after they reach a breaking point or after they say the perfect prayer. But often, God's help is already in motion long before the crisis reaches its peak. It begins when He sees consistency in your heart, when He sees that you choose compassion even when life has not been gentle with you. That is why your past actions matter more than you realize. When you helped others, you revealed something to God about who you are. You showed Him that you are not driven only by comfort or convenience. You showed Him that you can be trusted with responsibility, with influence, and with blessing. God looks for people who reflect His nature, and generosity is part of that nature. Not just generosity with money, but with time, patience, attention, and understanding. Many people want God to move quickly in their lives, but God moves wisely. He watches how a person handles small moments before He releases greater ones. Helping others is one of those moments. It is a quiet test that most people do not realize they are taking. When you pass that test, you did not hear applause. You did not receive an announcement, but heaven recorded it. You may wonder why things did not shift immediately after you helped, why the door did not open the next day, why the problem did not disappear overnight. But God does not reward in the same way humans do. Humans respond instantly or forget completely. God responds at the right time. He waits until the reward will strengthen you, not distract you, until it will protect your heart, not inflate your pride. Some of you are in a season where you feel stretched. You are doing the right things, but the outcome feels slow. This can create doubt. You start asking yourself if being kind was a mistake, if helping others drained you instead of helping you. But what feels like delay is often development. God is shaping you to be ready for what He already has planned. Helping others also aligns you with divine flow. When you give, you position yourself in a spiritual movement that cannot stay one-sided. God designed life with balance. What flows out must eventually flow back, but it comes back transformed. You may have given comfort, but you will receive peace. You may have given support, but you will receive stability. You may have given time, but you will receive direction. This is why help often comes from unexpected places. God does not always send help through the same channel you used to give. He chooses routes that remind you it is Him, not coincidence. A conversation at the right time, a connection you didn't plan, an opportunity that appears quietly but changes everything. These are not accidents, they are responses. You may notice that your mindset is changing, that things which once upset you no longer have the same power. That fear is losing its grip. This is also part of God's help. Not all help looks like external breakthrough. Sometimes God strengthens you internally first, because inner stability is more valuable than quick results. There are moments when God allows you to continue helping even while you wait. This is not punishment, it is preparation. It keeps your heart open, it keeps you grounded, it keeps you aligned with who you truly are, and it protects you from becoming bitter while you wait for your own breakthrough. Chosen one, God does not exploit your kindness. He multiplies it. He watches over those who act in love without calculation. Even when life feels unfair, heaven remains just. Nothing you gave in sincerity is lost. It is stored, protected, and timed. If you feel a sense of quiet confidence growing inside you, that is not imagination, that is assurance. God is steady, not rushed, and the same God who observed how you treated others is now arranging how life will treat you. What is coming will make sense of the waiting. So do not grow tired. Do not close your heart. Do not change your nature to survive a season. This chapter is not the end of your story. It is the middle where strength is formed and trust is deepened. God's help is not delayed. It is unfolding. There comes a moment when waiting turns into movement, when quiet preparation gives way to visible change. This is the season many of you are approaching now. You may not feel fully ready, and that is often the sign that God is about to step in. When God moves, He does not always announce it loudly. Sometimes He begins by aligning things gently, removing obstacles you didn't know were blocking your path, and positioning you where help can finally reach you. You may start to notice small shifts first, a sense of calm where anxiety once lived, clarity where confusion used to dominate your thoughts. strength to handle situations that once overwhelmed you. These are not small things. They are evidence that God is already working on your behalf. Before He changes your circumstances, He often changes how you stand within them. The help God sends is not random. It is intentional and personal. It comes with precision. He knows exactly what you need and exactly when you need it. Some of you have been asking for relief, but God has been preparing restoration. Others have been praying for answers, but God has been setting up connections. Heaven works ahead of time, not in reaction. You might be surprised by who shows up for you. Someone you did not expect to care. Someone who reaches out without knowing why. Someone who speaks the exact words you needed to hear. These moments are not coincidence. They are reminders that God uses people the same way He once used you. Just as you were placed in someone else's life at the right moment, God is now placing others in yours. This season may also bring clarity about the past. You may suddenly understand why certain doors stayed closed, why certain prayers went unanswered, why certain people walked away. It was not rejection. It was protection. God was keeping you aligned with what could truly sustain you. Now that alignment is beginning to feel real. Some of you have been carrying quiet fear that if you stop being strong, everything will fall apart. But God is saying you do not have to hold everything together anymore. The same strength that allowed you to help others is now being poured back into you in a different form. Rest is becoming possible. Support is becoming visible. You are not meant to carry this next season alone. What God is releasing now is not just help, but confirmation. Confirmation that your kindness mattered, that your patience was not wasted, that your obedience was seen. You may find yourself looking back at moments you once questioned and realizing they were shaping you, not harming you. Perspective is part of the reward. There may still be challenges ahead, but they will not overwhelm you the way they once did. You are not facing them from the same place anymore. God's help changes your position. You are steadier, wiser, more aware of His presence. Even when things are not perfect, you will sense that you are not fighting alone. This is also a season of discernment. As help comes in, you will recognize what aligns with peace and what does not. You will no longer feel pressured to accept every offer or explain every decision. God's guidance will feel quieter but clearer. Trust will replace urgency. If you have felt unseen, let this settle in your heart now. You were never invisible to God. Every moment of kindness, every time you chose compassion over bitterness, every time you helped when it cost you something, it all mattered. Heaven does not overlook love. So as this chapter unfolds, stay open, stay grounded, receive the help without guilt. You are not taking someone else's blessing, you are walking into your own. God's balance is perfect. What you poured out is returning in a way that will sustain you. This is not the end of the journey, it is the beginning of a different pace. A pace where you are supported, a pace where faith feels steadier, a pace where heaven's movement becomes visible in everyday life. Remain faithful, remain kind, and remember this truth: when you helped others, you set something eternal in motion. And now heaven is responding.